Okay, so welcome back. So I managed to defeat that wave of enemies, and I found the entrance to Nay's purification site. So let's do it. Let's get in with Nay. And I guess we gotta do it with Delta, most of these, but let's see the power of Niroki. Do you know Niroki? I think it's supposed to be an alien or something. Anyway, it's a super popular character. It's pretty crazy. Its popularity is just phenomenal. That's why I was thinking about creating a Niroki set meal at my shop. You shouldn't do that without permission. Oh, don't worry about it. I'll do something about it as Empress. Besides, I doubt anybody who would complain if Nay the Gale did something like that. Although, if I'm going to make a Niroki meal, I need to think of Niroki-like items to include, right? I need to add its favorite food or something in the shape of Niroki's face. But it's so hard to make. I tried making Niroki's face, but it just ended up a total mess. That's why I was thinking about just serving something like an omelet with Niroki written in ketchup. If I put a bunch of other side dishes around the omelet, that would make it a set meal, right? I think it's a good idea. What about you? I think Niroki fans would rage. Well, I guess so. It doesn't matter how much they like Niroki, they wouldn't be happy if that's all they got. It would definitely sell if I put it on the menu, though. If only Niroki's face were more simple, I wouldn't be having trouble. Okay. Panic at the shop. You smell like onions for some reason. You should wash up. If you don't, Eon might complain about her eyes hurting. That reminds me, I saw a strange vendor in the Silas Garden the other day. It was a weird old man selling genetically modified onions that don't make your eyes tear up. Sounds like a nice old man. Of course Eon's partner would say that. You're just as naive as she is. Common sense would suggest that he's just a weird old man. Nobody would go near him, they just watched from a distance. I thought he was suspicious too, but then I gave it a little more thought. He might be strange, but if those onions did what he said, this was my chance. I bought a big pile of them, totally expecting to be ripped off, and when I cut into one, they hurt? You'd think so, right? But they actually didn't hurt. I couldn't believe it. I even held it next to my eyes, but it didn't hurt at all. I was so happy I wished I'd asked him to bring them to my shop regularly. At the time, anyway. Afterwards, I cooked them a bit to see how they tasted, but they didn't have any flavor at all. They looked and felt like onions, but were totally flavorless, like crispy water, I guess. Anyway, there was no onion flavor. It was kinda gross, to be honest. They might have removed the sting through genetic engineering, but so was the flavor. Sounds fine. Yeah, sounds fine. No, not. This is no good. They were special, so they cost double. Well, it might have cost me, but I'll just consider it to be a lesson fee. But if I ever see him again, I'll have him dragged off by plasma. Okay, it's a common bath. Oh, about that bathhouse in Quantav, Atsu Springs, I went there the other day. It was so relaxing. How should I put it? I guess it felt kind of lower class. You pay at the booth and then you can get in. It feels familiar, or maybe relieving. Anyway, that's how I felt there. Also, I liked how hot it was. Maybe I should make this place more like theirs. You sound like an old lady. Yeah, whatever. By the way, I might look like this, but I'm older than everyone else, so it's only natural you'd call me that. After you've experienced as much as I have, I'm sure you'll end up in the same state of mind. Okay. Where's Chumpy from? By the way, there's been some character goods getting pretty famous lately. I don't know who created it, but it's a stuffed toy bird. I think its name was... Oh, right, Chumpy. It's actually getting pretty popular. Is it really that popular? Yeah, but there's something weird about it. I'd never seen it sold in stores, but kids have been getting them from somewhere. Some kids have said they got them from the Charl. Any ideas? Are they trying to popularize it? Huh? That ugly thing? No way, nobody would do that. There's nothing cute about it. Wait, the kids who got them are always saying they're cute. Does that mean my tastes are just weird? Anyway, I guess I need to find the truth about this Chumpy character. I'll capture a Charl and interrogate them about Chumpy. Okay then. Am I just tired? Am I just seeing things? The other night I was doing some research into new recipes. I'm the only one who should have been in the kitchen, but something creeping around. I thought a cat or mouse or maybe even a drunk had snuck in, so I went over to see where the noise was. There was a bag of sham flour I bought from a random vendor. The moving sham flour? Don't get so impatient. There wasn't anything else around, just that bag and the sound coming from it. I thought some cat or mouse had gotten inside the bag. I wanted to scare whatever it was, so I quickly opened the bag, but there wasn't anything inside, just the flour. And I was right, it wasn't ordinary. There were dozens of giant, writhing worms made of sham flour. I panicked, I dragged the bag outside and heaved it into the garbage container. If you think about it rationally, there's no way it would writhe around like that, right? Maybe I was just seeing things? It's not strange that there would be creeping sham flour. No, that's definitely weird. It's not like it's alive, right? Besides, just the thought of those worms in my mouth? Ugh, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. I just want to forget about it. Maybe that's a good idea. How are you doing? Are you getting any customers? That's kind of a rude question, don't you think? Well, I've gotten some customers anyway, so I'm getting by. Although, there's the danger of being dragged off by the Charl coming, so I think they're kind of dumb. The fate of those enchanted by your cooking? Are you trying to say my cooking cripples people? Well, some people really love my cooking, so I guess it's no surprise there would be some addicts. Besides, coming to my shop means finding like-minded people. A place where they can speak about their discontent and complaints with what's going on. Somewhere they can go to let off steam. If they didn't have anywhere to vent, they'd go crazy, so I don't think it's a bad thing at all. Although it's pretty annoying they don't realize that I'm the target of most of their insults. But I can't complain since they're my customers. That's right, because they complain about the Emperor. Or Empress, rather. Change of mind. So I heard you went to help the Charl. What? How did you know that? Well, I guess you're pretty mysterious, so it's not that surprising you knew. Anyway, that was the result of a lot of thought. It's not very human-like to live and die in fear, right? So that's not fun at all. I can't accept that. This doesn't have anything to do with coexistence. I figured I'd look for another solution to the problem. Although I kinda regret Delta being the one who helped me realize this. I'm sure Eon would be happy. I'm sure she's been trying to persuade me to talk to them since we reunited. I never would have guessed my thoughts would line up with someone as naive as Eon. Looks like I'm getting naive enough to compete with her. Anyway, I don't know what will happen, but I'm trying to end the pointless fighting. There's still a mountain of issues, though. And the banana milil. By the way, I saw a pretty crazy feature article in Feli Par the other day. It was a special report on Tenryosara called Undercover into the Unknown City of Tenryosara. I'm honestly surprised by the actions of those reporters. Anyway, the article introduced a dessert called Banamilk, sold at a special shop in Tenryosara. Apparently it's an original dessert made by a pretty employee with a super glamorous body. I used her as inspiration for my own dessert called Banamilky. What do you think? I think she'll get mad at you. Quite mad, actually. Oh, don't worry, it's just a reference. It'll look different and use different ingredients. Besides, I don't even know what ingredients she uses. It'll be a different dessert but with a similar name and feel, so it's mine. Although, it looked pretty complicated from the photos, so I don't know. It would be a lot easier to make if it were simpler. Well, I can make it simpler through my own modifications so the creator won't even notice what I did. If you say so. Alrighty. So now let's do a little bit of talking with Eon. What do we got here? Oh, we still have quite a few. Yeep. Always together.
I'm sorry I haven't said this yet, but thank you for always being with me. You're always here moving Earthus around, so I feel at ease and can really push myself. But are you okay with all of this? You're in a different world than me, right? I'm sure your world has its own customs, and you have your own life, yet you still spend time with me every day like this. Is that really okay with you? Am I causing you any sort of trouble?
I'm willing to throw everything aside for you.
What? You can't do that. Of course I'm happy you feel that way. But when our world finds peace, if yours becomes a mess, I wouldn't be happy at all. But I also would be sad if you're too busy and left me alone. I'm sorry, I know that's really selfish. But I want you to stay with me from now on, at least enough where it doesn't cause you trouble. We can go lots of different places, do purification ceremonies, and talk about all kinds of things. And during fights, you can protect me and show me how cool and dependable you are. That's all I'd need to be happy.
You sound selfish, but I forgive you because you're cute.
I don't really know how to respond to something like that. This is getting embarrassing. That's it for this conversation. If I'm too embarrassed to look at you, talking wouldn't be as fun anyway.
Okay, we'll do one more for Eon and then we'll move on. Eon, are you in a bad mood?
Huh? No, I don't think so. Why do you ask? Was I saying awful things without realizing it?
Your interaction with Canon was bothering me.
I see. I guess it showed in my behavior. I'm sorry, but I'm not angry, I don't think. I was really happy when I decided to help Canon with the shop. I was looking forward to us making our own unique things to sell. But most of our items are being made according to her judgment. That's why you know.
So you're annoyed?
That's wrong, or at least I wish I could say that with confidence. I really don't know. I shouldn't be feeling this way. But there's not much I can do. You might see me acting like this for a bit. Please don't start hating me, okay?
Okay. Alright. So now let's head back to Felion, because that's where I'm assuming... It's basically where I'm assuming where Delta and Casti are. There we go. Managed to escape without getting into a fight, thankfully. Okay, so let's go here, Felion. And maybe they're in the Cells Garden? Hey, Eon.
Hi guys.
Sorry about earlier. Were Sarli and Nay mad?
No, they're fine.
Couldn't you have waited until we weren't in the restaurant to get mad, Cass? There were customers.
But I don't think Sarli or Nay had bad intentions. They were just desperate to protect the city.
I know that. I know there's nothing I can do about Interdimend.
I didn't know how to get Delta back to normal either.
But I can't forgive them for keeping it a secret. If they had just told me, then I would have been able to trust him. I could have been nicer to him. I don't really mind much. After all, Interdimend gave me the power to do all the stuff I did to help people.
This is about my feelings.
Well, I'm glad you were thinking about me. But I'm back to normal now, so there's no reason to keep being mad at Sarli and Nay.
How's your body feeling?
Great.
That's good.
Oh, right. Thanks, Eon.
I didn't really do anything.
That's not true. I'm starting to regain my memories, you know? Remember when you told me about the 7 before? I can kind of remember that now.
What? Really? So that means your memories might continue to come back.
I don't know, but it would be nice if I could remember everything.
You will. I'll help you.
Thanks, Cass. Anyway, I didn't have time before, but can you tell me more about the 7 now that things have calmed down? Things were pretty bad in Felion before, so I'm sorry I didn't listen. If you still want to talk, though.
I do, thank you.
I've been thinking about it ever since I started remembering the 7. Your idea might be the key to saving this world.
Oh.
I was waiting for you to get back to talk about it, but stuff happened. Alright, you want to go back to Ney au Française and make up with Ney and Sarli?
I can't do that, but I'm willing to listen to Eon.
So, what were you trying to do by gathering the 7, Eon?
I want to weave song magic.
Wait, song magic? Well, we can already do that, can't you?
I don't mean normal song magic, I mean something more powerful, like a miracle.
What are you talking about?
Long ago I had very strong bonds with the 7, but now we've all been scattered across the world. But back then, we all swore the oath of the Imperial Council, a contract connecting our hearts deeply.
So the Imperial Council... Okay.
Yeah, I remember, but
Wasn't that more of a formality?
no, the Imperial Council can bring their hearts together to weave song magic that's otherwise impossible.
Wow, I didn't realize we were that amazing.
So, what kind of song
Did you want to weave with the Imperial Council?
A song to accept me and Nello into this world.
I don't really get it.
I guess I'll just explain it from the beginning then. You all know that Nello is trying to get home to her world, right?
Yeah, she was pretty clear about that. Isn't that why she was trying to create the maternal overseer?
I think there's more to the maternal overseer than just that. But yes, Nello was trying to use its power to go home. But if she had, then it would have killed everyone on the ship. That's why I awoke at the Star platform, that's why I awoke at the Star Singer's platform to stop her.
Okay, but what does stopping Nello have to do with being accepted by our world?
Nello's soul and mine are still connected to a world beyond the 7th dimension. We don't belong here. It's a little like poking our heads through a window into another world. Anyway, what that means is our own worlds are still influencing us even though we're here. That's why we have to feel the pull to go back. We have to go back.
That's why we feel the pull to go back.
But if our souls became a part of this world, we wouldn't have to leave. This world would become our world. Unfortunately, it would also mean we can never go back. We'd lose oversight and become regular people.
That would solve the most direct way. That would be the most direct way to solve the problem, but I don't see Nello going for it.
She's been trying to get back to her world since our planet still existed. Even if we resigned her soul to this universe, I don't think she'd just stop looking for a way to go back.
But if she were a normal human, she wouldn't be able to do anything, right? We could just lock her up.
No, you can't do that. I think that would be bad too, which is why I wanted to ask you something.
What is it?
If Nella becomes a part of this world, I want you to be there for her, as fellow humans and as friends. I want you to help create a new home for her. Eon.
If it'll make her happy, I'm game, but will she go for it? It sounds like something she never wanted.
I know, but this is the best solution I could come up with, for this world and for Nello.
It's not a bad suggestion if it works, but I think it's going to be impossible.
What? Why?
Because the last two of the 7, Shirotaka and Renal, are probably no longer of this world.
I see. Are Shirotaka and Renal really dead? What do you think?
I think they're alive. Yep, sure do.
Thanks. I guess you're just trying to cheer me up. You really are kind. But if that's the case, we need to think of a different solution. We definitely need to weave that song.
You don't want to go home?
With me. Come home to me. That's not what I mean. I'd like to go back if I could, but leaving this world means destroying it. Nello's willing to do that, but I'm not. So, I made up my mind a long time ago to not go back. Anyway, enough about that. What should we do now?
Didn't Sarli want to talk to you?
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot. Let's go to Quantav.
So, Shirotaka and Renal. I'm pretty sure they're probably still around. Alright, so we'll take a break there, and we'll go and talk to Sarli next time. Maybe do a talk subject or two, and maybe a little bit of crafting if we're able to. And if we're not, then we'll just go and talk to Sarli and continue on with the main story. So until then, thanks for watching.